Hey, and welcome back to Rapid Flow. On this second short tutorial, I'm going to show you how to use the Rapid Flow workflow to compose with the V3 version that we've just released in collaboration with Bitwig for free on anyone on an active update subscription. So join me and I'm going to take you over to the DAW and I'm going to give you an idea of how you can use this workflow and this template to create your own music. So, as I described in the first video, which I think is worth a watch if you haven't seen it yet, to give you an overview of the structure of the template, why there's only 8 tracks, how everything is linked together with the controller, as well as the live performance effects, which you will find on the super channel. If you missed that, definitely check out that video. It's also on this page or linked on this playlist. But in this video, we're now going to really be looking at how to use this for creating your own music. So the whole idea here, and this is kind of my background as kind of an old school guy that learned recording at SAE back when tape machines were still a thing, I joke you not. We're trying to limit ourselves to just 8 tracks here, which we can then very easily control using our hardware controller. All of this is pre-mapped if you're on APC40 Mark II. So what we're going to do is use the 8 tracks of the virtual tape machine that we have here to record only the strongest ideas that we have for a selection of loops that will form a couple of scenes that will become the track sketch. And we're going to use some of the instruments that are provided as part of this template. We dropped in our analog kick drums that you can see here, our pack, as well as one of our user favorite basses, which is the Elektron rhythm. It actually has an incredible bass synth in it, and we're going to be using that. So let me show you what they sound like. So this is the one that's open, went through the tape machine that you see behind me there. So I'm going to look for one now that I like. I like that one. That one actually went through the NEVE that's sitting on my side here, the master bus processor. Okay, so I have this kick drum here now. I've just randomly picked one here, which is an 808. We recorded an 808 and processed it with the hardware. So this would now be the foundation of my track, and I want to make this easy on myself because I know there are just some scales that I'm more comfortable in. So I'm going to copy this down and move these notes so that they're on a D. That will make my life a lot easier. And what I have down here, if you follow along with me, is a Wave 2, which is synchronized to the DAW using a multi-clock and is coming in over on the channel that you see back here called Rec Test. Your version of this won't have the multi-clock and Rec Test because that's all I'm using now to interface it into my studio. So as you can see, when I'm playing, I'm getting these sounds in here. So the first thing to do is to record what I think would work well with this start of a sketch for a harmonic melodic element. So I'm going to start this here now. Okay. Okay, cool. So I'm going to start the recording now, and just as you probably would expect, I'm actually going to record this straight to audio. I sometimes do this with MIDI, but I'm a big fan of capturing stuff in audio because it's forever. It's not reliant on any plugin updates, OS updates, or anything like that. And you just capture ideas much, much quicker. And at a certain point, unless it's something very exact, you actually get, in my experience, really good at just playing stuff in. It just makes it way more fun, easy, and more alive. So I'm going to record in this little idea here. Okay, so if I was being very fastidious about this, of course, I would let that reverb all play out, etc. But I don't really need to do that. So here is my recording now. I started a little bit late, so I'm just going to trim this up here quickly. And now I have what could be the beginning of what would be this track in the DAW. And if I show you quickly here, this is actually going to the super channel, which is very important when you create new parts of your track. Please always send them to the super channel because then they'll benefit from the super channel processing as well as the mastering chain. So I'm hearing this now in the context of the full track how it would sound mastered, and it's taking all the guesswork out of will this work later in the track or not. So let's have a listen if I'm happy with this. It's definitely too loud, so this is a very easy fix. I just take the gain for the clip, bring it down. I'm actually going to tighten this up because it does feel a little bit behind the beat. Okay, cool. So now I'm like, okay, that could be a good start. And this to me feels like what would be the harmonic element. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this channel over here to rec test. And I want to capture this pre. And anything that I do now on that channel that potentially maybe would be some things to spice it up with some more reverb or delays or anything will then be captured over into the template to where I want to actually work with this. But I'm going to leave it as is because I know I already have some reverb and stuff happening on that, and I'm going to capture it. Okay, cool. There's my loop. Cool. And now actually I could switch off or remove, especially if I had a ton of plugins, I could actually completely remove or delete this now. I don't need it anymore, which will free up a lot of my CPU. And now I actually have that first idea as well as this kick drum and this bass line captured right now on this row of scenes here. So let's see how this sounds all together. I want to take some additional drums. I'm going to actually steal Nate's drums here. I hope he forgives me because he did such a great job on these. I'm going to just grab these down here. He's actually made a super nice device for the hi-hats up there that I have to study, which is really nice. And because I already have kick drums happening from the analog kick drums here, I'm actually going to mute his kick drums so that those don't get triggered. And let's have a listen now. And now we're starting to get to a place where I can actually now interact with this track sketch using the live performance effects, so I can start to test how, I don't need the phone right now, how this will actually feel like as a track. Okay, that's already very cool. I want to do the same now with capturing my bass from the Elektron to just make sure that it's as an audio loop. I can see more exactly what's happening with it. And if I do at some point feel like I may need to change it, I can always go back to the MIDI, but there's no need right now to keep it in here as MIDI for me. So I'm going to grab this pre again because I don't want the extra boost from the fader right now, and I'm going to record this into the bass track. Okay, so there's the recording now. So as you can probably tell, I'm building up a sketch of clips over here on the left. And of course, you can also just drop samples in here if you have stuff lying around. I recommend you to lower the level substantially because of the boost our mastering chain gives. Everything coming into the template should be attenuated by like good 15, 18 dB because we're aiming for 0 VU throughout the template from a gain staging point of view. Which equates to minus 18 dB full scale. So if you have fully normalized clips, take them down to minus 18 when you import them using the clip gain, and then they'll work together with everything else beautifully. So then I think the next thing I would probably do, well, we already have some percussions in here. Now, assuming that I would want to grab over some percussion samples, maybe from here and maybe a groove tom, I would build up my track this way, either recording things in through our instruments and the MIDI in the back, or resampling something you've created in this whole compose section back here, or maybe actually bringing in external instruments like I just did before with the Nord Wave down here. And that way build up your selection of sounds and clips that you want to work with, because then you'll be able to actually use this like a sketchpad. You'll be able to develop ideas very, very quickly and actually be able to hear if they're going to work well or not as something that's worth finishing before you invest days and weeks to actually make it into a full track and sequence. Because let me show you, you can actually start to jam and experiment with this now by just playing with it using your faders and building up your sequence manually using the controller. I'm just quickly going to map the kick drum or the first channel fader also to the kick drum here. So now I could play with this as if it was my initial track sketch. Have a listen. I can use the live performance effects to like mutate the way that whatever is playing at that moment is going to work together. I can add, you know, the reverbs, the delays and everything, and then actually use this to create a sketch of a new track idea in real time, moving everything over to the arrangement view, which is what I'm going to be showing you on the next video. So I hope this gives you a first overview and impression of how you can use the Rapid Flow workflow to create track sketches really quickly. And the idea is that you can actually go and validate these sketches on a party or in a club or a festival or wherever, you know, just by playing them on stage as a bunch of sequences and then using a controller to move things in and out to make it really live and just to react also to the way people are vibing. And if you feel like the music needs to go down, you have everything right in front of you to actually move the music in that direction. And then when you hit on the ones where you can tell like, wow, people really like this track, there's a really great response to it. Every time I play it, I get goosebumps and I can tell there's like some magic happening. That's the ones then that you progress to the next stage and turn into a full arrangement with probably more than just 8 tracks. But if you can get a track to work and sound cool with just 8 tracks, it's a very good indication that it's a track worth finishing and a track that probably has a core idea that's strong enough. I hope this has been interesting to see. The next video is going to be about arrangement using this workflow with the controllers. There is also a video on setting up the controllers and an overview of the whole template. And if you will allow me a little plug, this is something that we're working on right now, which is a lot more of the sounds like the Elektron rhythm bass that you just heard, sampled note by note here in our studio from all these amazing synthesizers that we have over here going through all of this outboard gear. And basically what this is going to allow you to do is get access to the quality of synthesizers and sounds that we have here in the studio in a very easy to use user interface that is not dumbed down too much, but that has all the basics that you need to affect the sound. And if you need more, then of course you can add plugins to it, but you have all the basic elements there. So this is coming up this summer. We're working on this right now, final stages of implementation. We offer bigger templates also. If you've gotten a taste for this now over on rapidflow.shop, we have the Infinity Bundle. We have a mid-side mastering chain that's insane, designed by Earthbound Mastering. So that's it. That's the plugs from me. I hope that this inspires you and gives you the possibility to jam out your ideas much, much faster and to use the DAW like an instrument by using a controller. I'm going to jam a little bit more with this idea and I'll see you on the next video. Bye-bye.